Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text number 19. Topyam cha narada vrisham bhagavan vivriddha bhavena sadhu paritushta vacha yogam jnanam cha bhagavatam atma satattvadipam yad vasudeva sharana viduranjaseva. Tubhyam, unto you, cha, also, Narada, O Narada, Bhrisham, very nicely, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Vivriddha, developed, Bhavena, by transcendental love, Sadhu, your goodness, Paritushtaha, being satisfied, Uvacha, described, Yogam, service, Jnanam, knowledge, Cha, also, Bhagavatam, the science of God and his devotional service, Atma, the Self, Sat Tattva, with all details, Deepam, just like the light in the darkness, Yat, that which, Vasudeva Sharanaha, those who are souls surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva, Viduhu, know them, Anjasa, perfectly well, Eva, as it is. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Narada, you were taught about the science of God and his transcendental loving service by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation as Hamsavatara. He was very much pleased with you due to your intense proportion of devotional service. He also explained unto you lucidly the full science of devotional service, which is specially understandable by persons who are souls surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead. Purport. The devotee and devotional service are two correlative terms. Unless one is inclined to be a devotee of the Lord, he cannot enter into the intricacies of devotional service. Lord Sri Krishna wanted to explain the Bhagavad Gita, which is a science of devotional service, unto Sri Arjuna, because Arjuna was not only his friend, but a great devotee as well. The whole process is that all living entities, being constitutionally parts and parcels of the Supreme Living Being, the Absolute Personality of Godhead, have proportionately minute independence of action also. So the preliminary qualification for entering into the devotional service of the Lord is that one become a willing cooperator, and as such one should voluntarily cooperate with persons who are already engaged in the transcendental devotional service of the Lord. By cooperating with such persons, the prospective candidate will gradually learn the techniques of devotional service, and with the progress of such learning, one becomes proportionately free from the contamination of material association. Such a purificatory process will establish the prospective candidate in firm faith and gradually elevate him to the stage of transcendental taste for such devotional service. Thus he acquires a genuine attachment for the devotional service of the Lord, and his conviction carries him on to the point of ecstasy just prior to the stage of transcendental love. Such knowledge of devotional service may be divided into two sections, namely preliminary knowledge of the nature of devotional service and the secondary knowledge of its execution. Bhagavatam is in relation with the personality of Godhead, his beauty, fame, opulence, dignity, attraction, and transcendental qualities which attract one towards him for exchanges of love and affection. There's a natural affinity of the living being for the loving service of the Lord. This affinity becomes artificially covered by the influence of material association, and Srimad Bhagavatam helps one very genuinely remove that artificial covering. Therefore, it is particularly mentioned herein that Srimad Bhagavatam acts like the lamp of transcendental knowledge. These two sections of transcendental knowledge in devotional service become revealed to a person who is a soul surrendered unto Vasudeva, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 19. Such a great soul, fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of Vasudeva, is very, very rare. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The verse once again. O Narada, you were taught about the science of God and his transcendental loving service by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation of Hamsavatara. He was very much pleased with you due to your intense proportion of devotional service. He also explained unto you lucidly the full science of devotional service, which is specially understandable by persons who are souls surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead. Very powerful verse. Today we are learning about Hamsavatar, how Lord Krishna incarnated as Hamsa. Hamsa means swan. So different incarnations are described in this chapter, and the verse that we have today, number 19, talks about Hamsa Avatar. And in this incarnation as Hamsa, the Supreme Lord instructed Narad Muni. And Lord Brahma recognized that the Supreme Lord has appeared as Hamsa Avatar. Srila Prabhupada explains that there are 4 yugas, and each yuga has a dharma. We have heard this very famous verse, Krite yadhyayato Vishnu tretayam yajatomake dvapare paricharyam kalautad hari kirtana. So, the process of execution of devotional service in Satya Yuga was meditation. And this was established by the Supreme Lord himself as the Hamsa Avatar. And we know that Hamsa means swan, and swan is white. That is the complexion of the Lord, white. And this Shweta Avatar is Hamsa Avatar. Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in his purports that this avatar is a brahmachari, which means not married, and he has 4 hands. His complexion is white, and he administers knowledge. You see, in the form of meditation to all the sages, and he's non-different from Nara-Narayan Rishi. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that this white form of Hamsa, the Supreme Lord, Hamsa Avatar, is the Yuga Avatar in Satya Yuga. And he is non-different from Kapila Muni, the son of Kardama Muni. Of course, the Supreme Lord appears in different forms, in different kalpas in Satya Yuga. So some kalpa, he is Nara-Narayan Rishi. In some, he is Kapila, also as Hamsa. And this Hamsa avatar is also known as Suparna, which means beautifully winged. You see, the swan has wings, right? So it's beautifully, winged. So he's also called Suparna. Now, Lord Brahma in this verse is making a point, which, of course, Srila Prabhupada elaborates. And Lord Brahma is telling to his son Narad Muni that Hamsa avatar was very pleased with you. That should be our goal in Bhakti Yoga. When we are performing devotional service, our goal should be to please our spiritual master, and then Krishna is automatically pleased. So the goal should be very, very clear, and the devotee or the disciple should endeavor to reach that goal. How can I please my spiritual master? So here, fortunately, Hamsavatara is very pleased with Narad Muni. And what is the reason? Not because Narad Muni can sing nicely or travel from here to there or plays his veena very nicely. No, it's because of his intense devotional service. Sometimes devotees take up devotional service very casually, very lightly. Oh, when I have time, I will chant. When I have time, I will read, etc., etc. No. Devotional service is given to only very fortunate souls. Right? Bahunam janmanam ante. After many, many births, we get the opportunity to do Bhakti Yoga. And when we get this opportunity, intelligent devotee will take it up very seriously. Just like Narad Muni. Intense devotional service. What does that mean? Complete focus. No one can change the determination or the faith of such a devotee. And Brahma is saying that he explained full science of devotional service. And this full science of devotional service can be understood only, very important word, only if one is surrendered. Now, what does it mean, surrendered? It means following the instructions of Guru and Krishna. Only then, you see, it's not that we can open the Bhagavad Gita, read it and understand it. No, it's a secret, supreme secret. We may be able to read it, but not really understand it and realize it. So Lord Krishna appearing as Hamsavatara, he established the science of devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he's giving example of Arjuna, right? We have heard about the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So example of Arjuna. Who was Arjuna? He was not only a friend of Krishna, but he was also a devotee of Krishna. Very, very important, see? Because, see, devotional service can be achieved only through devotion. And that's so logical. So only a devotee is qualified to be a devotee. Isn't that powerful? Only a devotee is qualified to be a devotee. And only a devotee will perform devotional service. See? So Krishna, he gave guidance to Arjuna. Why? Because he could see Arjuna was surrendered. Can we give knowledge about devotional service to someone who's not interested in hearing? No. That person may pretend to be hearing, may pretend to show interest, but it's of no use. So that desire was there in Arjuna's heart to take guidance from Krishna. He was surrendered. So devotional service is possible only, like Prabhupada says, only when one is willing to do. We cannot force anyone to do anything in this world, right? Of course, we can put a gun on the head and, make someone do something. But in general, everyone has freedom of choice. They may hear, they may get the knowledge, but then at the end of the day, they have to decide, make an intelligent choice. What do I want to do? So unless one is willing to perform devotional service, how can one develop any devotion? How can one even try to perform devotional service if there is no willingness? There has to be cooperation, right? Choice is there. So depends if we take that choice or we don't. Like Prabhupada talks about minute independence. He's talked about this so many times. That minute independence that we have, are we going to use our intelligence and use it wisely or misuse our freedom of choice? So devotional service is voluntary. You see, it's not by force. And Srila Prabhupada writes very clearly, willing cooperator. Very important words. Willing cooperator. Must be willing and ready to cooperate. You see? Cooperate with whom? With advanced devotees. Learn from them, serve them. Because when we serve advanced devotees, we start developing humility. We start giving up that perception about ourselves that I am the master, I am the controller. So humility develops by service to advanced devotees. And Prabhupada says, then one will understand the techniques of devotional service. So one may say, hey, devotional service is so simple. It may appear to be simple, but there are certain techniques to devotional service. And when one learns those techniques, then one will be able to purify oneself. And to be able to reach that stage, of course, one needs to be very enthusiastic about it. Because bhakti is not casual. We cannot take bhakti to be, whenever I get time, I can do this or that. No. It requires determination, it requires enthusiasm, and very importantly, it requires good association. When we have good association of devotees, then a purification becomes a gradual and natural process. And gradually that devotee also develops firm faith. And Srila Prabhupada tells us in the purport, then there is no more material contamination. Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha. So when we have that basic faith, we do sadhu sangha, we associate with devotees, and that leads to bhajana kriya. We start performing devotional service, we start chanting, hearing, reading, serving, going to the temple. So the whole process starts, and that leads to anartha nivritti. Unwanted things from the heart are gone. So what is the goal of this whole process? To attain love for Krishna, Krishna Prema. And Srila Prabhupada says this taste for devotional service will develop gradually, and then genuine attachment to Krishna, that will happen. And that again will depend on our sincerity. How focused are we? Are we performing devotional service half-heartedly, or we have our full attention towards it? In the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about two sections of devotional service. Preliminary knowledge of devotional service, and the secondary knowledge is its execution. What's the point of taking on knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge, but there's no execution? Then it just remains theory. There's no realization, no self-realization. You see, the best part of this spiritual science of devotional service is it's based on knowledge, not blind faith. It's not someone said, so we do it. No. We need to understand what are we doing and why are we doing. See? Then, when we start sincerely progressing on the path of devotional service, then that love which is dormant in our hearts, that love for the Supreme Lord, will start to shine. See, because of material contamination, we have forgotten who we are, we've forgotten who is God, we've forgotten what is the purpose of human form of life, we've forgotten everything. All we are interested in is I am this body and how to enjoy this body. That is contamination. But the scriptures are given to us by the Lord. Krishna has given us a spiritual master. He's given us devotees who can help us to understand. And Srimad Bhagavatam helps us to remove this artificial covering that we have, which is called the conditioning. You see? We may try to hear, to chant, to read, to associate, to follow the instructions, but unless we have the mercy of Guru and Krishna, how can we progress? You see? Then knowledge will just remain theory. It will not lead to realization. So mercy is important. And to receive that mercy, the devotee needs to be surrendered to Guru and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada in the purport talks about this very important verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan ma prapadyat vasudeva sarvamiti samatma sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare, who after many births realizes Vasudev, Krishna, is all in all. He's the cause of all causes. And then surrenders unto the Lord. And surrender, of course, is a very heavy word. Most people don't even understand what's the meaning of surrender. Surrender doesn't mean you just lay flat on the ground and offer obeisances. No. It means we give up our position of being a master or a controller. See, today's verse about Hamsavatara, the verse is talking about Hamsavatara being very pleased with Narada. Why? Because of his intense proportion of devotional service. And that simply means it's not just plain devotional service, it's very intense, which means there is intensity, there is seriousness, there's sincerity in his devotional service. It's not an attitude of, oh, I need to finish my rounds today and then I can do whatever I want to do. Let me get it over with. No. Intense devotional service means chanting attentively, hearing when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. See, the inclination for devotional service is important. What is our inclination? Only then we'll be able to start devotional service. See, Srila Prabhupada in his purport says that it is difficult to understand the intricacies of devotional service. Doesn't that remind us of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna, it's difficult to understand the intricacies of karma. So if it is difficult, then what do we need to do? Get guidance. We get guidance from a bona fide spiritual master. We get guidance from advanced devotees. We get trained from them. We see their sincere endeavors, and then we also, their sincerity rubs off on us. Then Krishna will reveal himself. You see? So we need to qualify ourselves so that we can advance spiritually. And surrender is a part of it. If our heart and soul is not surrendered to the Supreme Lord, Prabhupada says we cannot become a devotee. A devotee doesn't mean, wearing a tilak and wearing a devotee outfit. That does not identify one as a devotee. One has to be qualified. And that qualification is received from a spiritual master. And until and unless we get guidance and training, we will not be able to understand devotional service. We may have heard Bhagavad Gita many times, we may have heard Srimad Bhagavatam many times, and we may feel that we are understanding it, but Prabhupada says if we don't surrender, that means we haven't really understood the Bhagavad Gita, we haven't understood Srimad Bhagavatam. See, the secret is revealed only when a devotee has the right attitude of surrender. That will lead one to falling in love with Krishna. You see, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they are like a chest of valuable jewels. You see, we have access to them, but it's locked. And we don't have the key. How do we open it and, get the treasure? The Guru has the key to it. The Guru can unlock that treasure and give us all those valuable jewels. But for us to accept those valuable jewels, we need to have surrender. You see? Surrender based on knowledge, not blind faith. Bhaktya mama abhijanati. Only by bhakti we can understand Krishna. There is no other way. And bhakti means surrender, surrender, surrender. You see? Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has mentioned that the most important quality of a devotee is to take shelter of only Krishna. You see, we have that minute independence. We are parts of the Supreme Lord. Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are Amshas, parts of the Supreme Lord, yes. And we have that minute independence given to us by the Lord. What do we do with that independence? We can decide what do we want to do. And that freedom we have. So, there are only two things. There are two options. Either we go up or we fall down. We go to the spiritual world or we come back into this material world. And it's only our minute independence will decide whether we go up or we go down. We look towards Krishna or we look away from Krishna. We act with Krishna in the center of all our activities, or we keep ourselves as the center of our activities. We accept Krishna as the source of everything, or we accept this body as a supreme enjoyer. Choice is ours. Very, very simple. That is our independence. In fact, there is a lot more knowledge about Hamsavatara in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 11th canto, chapter 13, verse 23 especially, where we see that there is Brahmaji present, there's Hamsavatara, there are 4 Kumaras, and Hamsavatara, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself in the form of a beautiful swan, and Brahmaji is sitting in the audience, and the Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras, are asking questions to Hamsavatara. And Hamsavatara is giving knowledge to the 4 Kumaras. And that portion is called Hamsagita. It's a song of Hamsavatara. And Prabhupada says from there starts the Kumara Sampradaya. Of course, there's not much mention in Srimad Bhagavatam about Hamsavatara. It's just mentioned that he's a Leela avatar, not much mention. But the question is, why does the Supreme Lord appear as Hamsa, as a swan? What's the quality of a swan? The swan can separate milk from water. If we mix milk and water together, the swan has the capability to separate milk from water. That's a very unique quality, and only swans can do that. So the acharyas say that Lord Brahma, he had given knowledge for creation. Actually, not he had, he was given knowledge about creation. Like we've heard from Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is the original creator and Brahma is the secondary creator. So he was given knowledge for creation, but his creation was a passionate activity, which means dealing with the mode of passion. And his Brahmaji's spiritual intelligence got influenced by the mode of passion. Just like milk is mixed with water. See, Brahmaji knew the answer, but he could not remember it. Why? Because there was passionate activity. And what did Hamsavatara do? He came to separate the passion from spiritual intelligence and to enlighten Brahma and also to enlighten the four Kumaras. You see, Brahmaji, who is the secondary creator, is very funny. He is allowed to sleep 12 hours because he has such a difficult seva to do, secondary creation. He's allowed to sleep 12 hours. We should not imitate Brahmaji and say, hey, we are in Brahma Sampradaya, he sleeps 12 hours, so we can also sleep 12 hours. No. Same Brahmaji, he came as Haridas Thakur, right? So when he came as Haridas Thakur, he used to sleep only 2 hours and he used to chant for 22 hours. You see? 2 hours, 22 hours he chanted and 2 hours he did other things. But Srila Prabhupada, he said, you chant 2 hours and then you do other things 22 hours. How very merciful. He's given us a concession. And then those 2 hours becomes, for most devotees, a burden. Oh no, I have to chant 16 rounds again today? I just chanted yesterday. But that's the only way. In Kali Yuga, Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam. There is no other way in Kali Yuga except chanting, chanting, chanting. Chanting is the only way. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's the only way we can remove the conditioning, revive our dormant love for the Lord, progress spiritually with firm faith, complete focus, sincere endeavor, and go back to the spiritual world. Today is the appearance day of Madhavendra Puri, a pure devotee of the Lord. Right? His love for Krishna is very uncommon. We will not find it anywhere. Whenever he would see a dark cloud, he would fall unconscious because the dark cloud would remind him of Krishna. So much love for the Lord. It is said that he would drink the liquor of spiritual love for Krishna. So much Krishna prema was there. It was like as if he was intoxicated by Krishna prema. And it was not just that he would just sit and chant and not do anything. No, he had that sincere mood of service. He always wanted to serve his Gopal. His mood of service was so powerful that, everyone around him could feel that power. Of course, he was always chanting, but he always wanted to serve Gopal. And Lord Nityananda accepted Madhavendra Puri as his spiritual master. Who is Lord Nityananda? He is the Supreme Lord himself. But he is showing us with his own example that even God accepts a bona fide spiritual master to set an example for us. So he accepted Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda accepted Madhavendra Puri as his guru. And what was Madhavendra Puri's mood? Complete absorption in separation from Krishna, because Krishna was not near him. Krishna was far away. He could not see Krishna. He was thinking about Krishna all the time, and that mood of separation was very strong. So he was completely absorbed in that. It is said that he had many disciples like Advaita Acharya, Lord Nityananda, Ishvara Puri. perfect example of a pure devotee. As I mentioned, his love is very, very uncommon. Such deep absorption in Krishna Prema. So today being his appearance day, we can pray to Madhavendra Puri to help us get the same mood of service, to get that same absorption in love for Krishna. We can pray to him on this auspicious day of his appearance. Today is also the appearance of Srinivasacharya. Srinivasacharya, his parents Gangadhar and Lakshmi Priya, we can say they were a perfect example of parents. Why? Because they wanted to raise their child to become a great devotee of the Lord. How many parents nowadays, as soon as a child is born, they have this deep desire to make their child a devotee of the Lord? Very rare. In fact, before the child is born, the parents start planning. This is the school that we are going to put the child in, this is the college, this is how the child is going to make money, etc., etc. It's all about materialism. Very rarely we find the parents taking interest in spirituality of their child. So here the parents, they wanted to raise the child to be a great devotee. And so the parents of Srinivasacharya are an excellent example of perfect parents. See? Teaching children how to become great devotees. Now, Srinivasacharya, when he was a young boy, he aspired to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already disappeared from this planet. And he could not even meet Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. They had also left. But this boy, young boy, he grew up to be a great scholar. He distributed valuable Vaishnava books. And he was so much in sorrow that he could not meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could not meet Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. So in one day, he got a dream. Go to Vrindavan, learn from Jiva Goswami and Gopala Bhatta. And Jiva Goswami, he was so impressed by Srinivas Acharya that he's the one who gave him the title Acharya. Srinivas became Srinivas Acharya. He added that to his name. Why? Because he was the most important Vaishnava teacher. He had few devotees with him like Ramachandra Kaviraj, Shyamananda, Narottam Das. So today is also this auspicious appearance day of Srinivasacharya. So let us pray to Srinivasacharya and beg him to give us the strength so that we can also become pure devotees like him. Today's verse is all about devotional service. So we can take this devotional service to our hearts and maybe come up with a very strong goal in life, that I want to become a pure devotee of the Lord by performing sincere devotional service. So I'm going to end here. I'll read the verse once again. O Narada, you were taught about the science of God and his transcendental loving service by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation of Hamsavatara. He was very much pleased with you due to your intense proportion of devotional service. He also explained unto you lucidly the full science of devotional service, which is specially understandable by persons who are soul surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead. So I'll end here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.